Copenhagen is the capital of Denmark, the second biggest city in Scandinavia, and the 14th biggest city in Northern Europe. With a population of nearly 800,000, it's a city that sticks to its roots while also rocking some dope hypermodernism. Copenhagen crams over 400 years of history into one gorgeous package, and it's a miracle that it's only burned down twice. It's got fantastic architecture, it's super fun to explore, and if the Danish language was just slightly less brain-melting, I would move here in a heartbeat. Copenhagen is an urban planner's dream come true, and that starts with the transit. Aside from the swanky subway system taking Danes into and out of the main downtown area, there's a brand spanking new loop line that runs around the city center literally all day and night. Every city on Earth should have this. But for the authentic Copenhagen experience, it's bikes or bust because it is literally the cycling capital of the world. Between the non-gridded street layout and the fact that cars are taxed an extra double the sticker price in Denmark, this city is an absolute nightmare for motorists, and as someone who hates driving, I find that karmic role reversal immensely satisfying. But bikes cost basically nothing, and Copenhagen accommodates with protected bike lanes, bike parking lots, and even bike highways. Rounding out the transit options are the tour boats, which contribute nothing to public transit but are a very worthwhile way to blow $20 and spend an hour. And of course, Copenhagen is extremely walkable, as it's got that medieval city vibe where the core is small and the streets aren't exactly straight, but there are enough monuments to remind you of where you are. 10 out of 10. Guys, please cut it out. You're making the rest of the world look bad. Copenhagen's heyday started in the 1600s and carried through the Industrial Revolution, so everything from the famous landmarks to the row houses are decked out in 12 layers of Baroque panache. And on the other side of that is the straight ball in modern Danish design. Look at this library. Why does this power plant have a ski slope on top of it? I usually hate modern art, but Copenhagen almost consistently nails it, and I don't know how they do it, so I just kind of hope that their design sorcerers are being fairly compensated. I don't say this lightly, but I'm pretty sure that Copenhagen has all of the bases covered. Guys, cut it out. 0 out of 10. This isn't fair anymore. Copenhagen has the good fortune to be surrounded by lots of seas and a whole bunch of land masses, so the water regulates the temperature without bringing in the uninvited oceanic storms. The result is that the weather is incredibly pleasant year-round, which is cool and all, but for a Scandinavian country, I was kind of expecting it to be a little more Skyrim-y. 8 out of 10. I didn't see a single frost giant. What gives? Oh, eat it! Food in Copenhagen is amazing if you know what to look for, and a literal death trap if you don't. For instance, the first time I visited, I ate at a tourist trap in Nyhavn that was overpriced and terrible. The second time I went to Copenhagen, I ate at Nyhavn again and then got food poisoning. Lesson learned: do not eat at Nyhavn. Instead, a cursory inspection will reveal loads of incredibly tasty places to eat, like this street food paradise at the edge of town, or this cafe that is covered wall to wall to wall to wall in board games. 6 out of 10. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on Nyhavn. Danes are predominantly tall, blonde, gorgeous, and super nice. This makes me feel very out of place because I'm not blonde. Or humble. Like England, Denmark also has a royal family that every Dane adores. One afternoon, Cyan and I were walking through Copenhagen and literally stumbled onto the Crown Prince's 50th birthday parade. Frederick even waved at me. The biggest downside to Denmark is that the Danish language is an absolute nightmare. I've heard that the best way to learn Danish is to learn Swedish and then get drunk, and I believe it, but don't tell that to a Dane because they will knife you for comparing them to Sweden. You know how I called Nyhavn earlier? Well, I lied because it's actually pronounced Nyhavn, and I firmly believe that that makes new sense. 7 out of 10. What did you monsters do to those innocent consonants? Overall, I give the city of Copenhagen a score of ideal. This city works so well and has so much cool stuff, it's honestly kind of insulting. Give it a visit if you like bicycles, architecture in the 1700s, steer clear if you're allergic to new languages or are Swedish.